Our next story was also produced by Paulina during her time with us here in Arts District.
Here, she takes us on a journey into the visually stunning world of stained glass.
I've always become fixated when I see a stained glass piece. There's lots to look at when there's really nothing there. It's just pieces of glass, but the way that they're put together creates some sort of a fascination for me. My name's Remy Van Grack, the owner and founder of Glassy-Eye Designs. I really liked the different textures of glass, the different ways light would hit it as the sun comes through it, and then when the sun doesn't go through it, it has a completely different look to it. One day I woke up from a deep sleep and I was like, I'm gonna do stained glass. And that's kind of been how it's been for the last 5 years. I have been farming for the majority of my life for about 10 years. Had my own 2-acre farm out in Fort Collins, and we were doing farmers markets, community supported agriculture. When we grew a lot of cut flowers, that was a big part of, I would say, my art form. When you create bouquets, you're trying to contrast color, you're trying to contrast texture. I never made the connection between all my flower growing and my stained glass until my wife one day was like, oh, you should totally work with flowers, like you should incorporate those. And then from there on out, you know, the flowers have become a staple in what I'm doing, and I'm trying to create more. The silhouettes create a lot of emotion and a lot of feeling for me in terms of when the sun shines through it, when it doesn't. The experiences and feelings that I get from each one is constantly changing over time, and so they just kind of naturally speak to me. Take the outlines, I'll kind of sketch them out by hand on tracing paper. And I use tracing paper primarily because the light shines through it really easily. And then I'll go to the store and I'll get my glass. It always takes me forever when I go in there. There's a million pieces of glass. And if you don't have a plan before you go, you end up just spending a lot of time there touching all the glass over and over again. You can just break it with your hand. All the sides are grinded down, they're all smooth and flat. So this is a glass star foiling machine. The foiling is the most tedious part of the whole process. So once you got all the pieces foiled, then what I do is I lay them back out on the stencil to position them. And then you're gonna flux and solder all the lines on both sides. And once it's completely edged up, I'll usually start to incorporate the 3D elements. With this guy, he's almost there. He just needs his 3D elements in his eyes. And then he'll get patinaed at the very end. So what I'm gonna put in his eyes are these little laser beams. I'm gonna position them and then kind of splay them out so they kind of look like one beam. Glass is a good metaphor for life. It's really beautiful. The light shines through it. It creates new experiences. It's also really fragile. It cracks really easily. That's why I've been drawn to it.
How beautiful is that transparent color?
Oh, I know. I could stare at that stained glass work all day. It's gorgeous.
It's so great. You can see more of Remy's work online and on Instagram.